Sorry for the delay. It was on me. I was picking up the pieces of my TV as I threw the remote through there. Was such a well played game by Alabama until the final 1 minute of the contest. Big win for Tennessee, 79-76. I walk away with no anger, though. No anger because they played their butts off. They played their butts off in Knoxville against a really good team, scored 76. They never do that up there. But that last 60 freaking seconds. And it starts with Jaron Stevenson on the block out, on a free throw, and a couple other things down the stretch there. But the missed freaking free throws all day long. We knew it. We knew it'd bite them in a big game at some point this year, Taylor, because there's been several times they have missed free throws like this, and it was horrible today.
Yeah, they were 17 of 26 from the free throw line, 65.4%. And Tennessee went on a 7-0 run over the last 30 seconds of the game. Alabama was 2 of 11 of their last 11 shots. And we have talked about it a number of times before. Free throws will come back to bite you. Missed free throws will come back to bite you in big games, in close games, when it comes down to the wire.
Yeah. Biggest game in Tennessee history. They kept saying, I don't understand that, but battling for a 1 seed. Has Tennessee ever had a 1 seed before? Is that why it was the biggest game in Tennessee history? I know it was the largest crowd they've had this year, second largest crowd in the country, they said on the broadcast. I don't know if Tennessee's ever been a 1 seed in the tournament before. I can't think of why this would have been the biggest home game in Tennessee history, but they were saying that on the broadcast. Bama led at 42-38 at the half. And so many good things they did in this, except they missed free throw after free throw after free throw in so many good positions. And Tennessee made plays. Gainey was huge in the final big part of the game, a big part of the game, the whole second half. And then at the end, the Mashack, Jahmai Mashack, who is known for defense with a big shot there. I just knew it was going to happen. I mean, you feel it in your bones when they tied it up and Bama didn't win it at the end with 3 point whatever seconds is left. I'm like, they're going to hit a shot here. They're going to hit a shot. Did I think it'd be a 3? No, I thought it'd probably be a 2 or a pushback or whatever. But it's a nice win there for Tennessee. They're on their way to a 1 seed if they can finish the deal. Probably would take Alabama beating Florida and Auburn both this week to jump back over Tennessee with the loss there. We'll get to your comments and some of your stats. But as we said earlier in the Auburn postgame show, an Alabama loss today would give Auburn the outright championship. It was going to be inevitable anyway. Auburn just had to win one. So they lock it up today. They've already celebrated that in the locker room up at Rupp Arena, passed out hats and everything. Zakai Ziegler, Alabama, for the most part, held him by his standards in check today. He had foul trouble early on, and I thought that was a key point in the game. Ziegler sets down with 6:23 with 2 fouls already before the first media timeout, misses a big chunk of the first half, and Alabama didn't get a huge separation at that point, Taylor. And I thought that was a big moment in the game where, they could have possibly opened up a double-digit lead there and felt a little different.
Yeah, that was something that stood out to me as well at the beginning of the game. Him having 2 fouls early was probably concerning for most Tennessee fans watching this game, and that was probably something that made Alabama fans feel pretty good about where they stood early in the game. Something else that stood out to me, and something that I noticed when I was watching, Alabama out-rebounded Tennessee 43-32. Second chance points. Alabama had 14 second chance points to Tennessee's 7. And that was something in the second half that was standing out to me. Tennessee was not getting many second chance opportunities. Alabama seemed to be cleaning up the glass well. But it's one of those games that, at the end of the day, you just can't finish it out. But the fact that Tennessee scored, this is just a lot more of a high-scoring game than I expected it to be because of the grinded out, low-scoring, ugly basketball that Tennessee plays.
Yeah, I remember it was 46-43, one Auburn-Tennessee game up there, 53-51 earlier this year down at Neville Arena. But see, everything worked out the way I thought it would work out in Alabama's favor today. Like you said, in points in paint, Alabama was better points in paint than Tennessee was, 32-28. Fast break points, Alabama was able to run at times 11-6 there, not a ton, but turnovers. Alabama didn't have a ton in the first half. They finished with only 12 in the game, and they had Tennessee 12 turnovers. That's not usually the way Alabama has to or gets to play up there in Knoxville. The 12-12 and the turnovers and leading and rebounding, all those were check, check, check for an Alabama win. And I think they did just about everything they did except the free throws, where they missed 9 of them today. Phylon missing there. Holloway, I remember him missing 3, I think, after being fouled on the 3 line, missed 9 free throws. And that ends up being the difference in the basketball game. Some of your comments there as we roll through the chat. A lot of Auburn fans here celebrating their SEC championship. We appreciate you guys being along for the ride too. Colin, Bama wins by 10 plus in Tuscaloosa, not up in Knoxville there. You have an excuse for everything, Lamb. I believe you're the most bitter fan I've ever seen. I will tell you, this is one of those games, though, that as angry as I am, screaming, I really like the way Alabama played this game. I love where their defense is right now going in to, the tournament coming up. If they can carry that over into the games that matter at the end, I like where the defensive mindset is right now. Landmine believer, we should have won by 7 to 10 points, beat ourselves, don't do the little things correctly. That last 1 minute, lucky to get the tie up and get another shot at it there at the end, and then had the 5-second call with the freshman on the inbound. Can't question Nate Oates' coaching, right? He's the coach, he knows, but now you got a true freshman there setting there on the inbound pass. Your thoughts on that, T, and we'll run through some comments, some chats.
Well, I feel like inbounding the ball has been a little bit of an issue and a number of times throughout the season. And there was a game, I cannot remember what game it was, but the broadcast crew was talking about, it looks like Alabama just took a play out of Auburn's playbook in terms of inbounding, and that has been an issue. I was not expecting Tennessee to hit that shot at the end of the game, especially it being a 3-point shot. I kind of expected them to try and drive to the rim, maybe get a foul call. But I mean, it's a bad beat. It's one of those games that will hurt because, like you said, if you look at the statistics, I mean, from the field, Alabama shot 42%, Tennessee shot 43%. They were both 38% from 3. It's just one of those games that at the end of the day, it doesn't go your way.
Rockin' P says he had 2 freaking timeouts left. You don't need a specialist to tell you to use one instead of giving UT the ball there on that 5-second call on the inbound pass. More of your comments rolling in. For Alabama, now we know what's left. The final home game of the year with Florida, and then the road game coming up against Auburn down at the end. Too many mistakes last 30 seconds in coaching decisions from Gary there. Um, the block out by Stevenson, that is simple. You get the missed free throw there, T, and you let him get around you, go all the way to the other side, get the rebound, and then you foul. You do the push and the foul there. That's one that won't look good on the tape there.
No, it won't. And I think that's something that is so important is being able not only to keep your composure to play the game that you know that you can be successful playing. When it comes down to the wire in these types of games, you have to be able to play clean. You have to be able to keep your mindset. Don't let the emotions of the game get to you. That's something that we talk about a lot in terms of Auburn because they have so many emotional players on their team, but not letting the stress of the situation get to you, because then you'll see things like that are uncharacteristic of a player. And I mean, you've got to be able to continue to play your game when it comes down to the wire.
John thought it was a quick 5 seconds call. Derek thought it was a quick 5 seconds call. If you're the bench, if you're the coach, or if you're Phylon in that situation, you got to sense it. If it's getting close, you got to call a timeout there. Had plenty to call there. Matthew, I'm pretty sure Rick Barnes was trying to call a timeout when that shot went up. That would always be my biggest fear in football or basketball, calling a timeout when the guy makes a field goal or he block a field goal or they get one off. Tim says, I fully believe both Auburn and Alabama are two of the top four teams in the country and will be there at the end. As an Auburn fan, I'm thankful to see Auburn be the SEC champions by themselves. Thank you, Tim, for that. Like I said, I like where Alabama is right now, the basketball they're playing. I think they, going into this game, they had whittled their defensive efficiency down to 39th in the country. So that's come a long way from where they were. And you just watch with the eye test where they're playing defensively lately. Love the way they're playing right now. And it may end up being they lose their last three games. But if they put forth the effort they did today and still lose to Florida and still lose at Auburn, I'll be okay going into the NCAA tournament with that kind of defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that is something that no one's going to be concerned about Alabama offensively. They've been electric offensively. They lead the country in points per game. Scoring isn't an issue. It's defense that's been the concern all this season and the past couple seasons. And they have improved throughout the season. I think what it's going to come down to after a loss like this is the seniority on this team. There are a lot of leaders. There are a lot of older guys that have been playing for more than one season. And I think that will play a big role in how they bounce back from this. This is not the end of the world. They may have lost a one seed in the NCAA tournament, but at the end of the day, what they're trying to achieve is still in front of them. That is not out of reach. So I think it's putting this behind you as quickly as you can, focusing on Florida, and just moving on because you can't hang your head on this for too long.
Brian says as long as Alabama heats up in the NCAA tournament, they're on a good path. Roll Tide Road there. East Tennessee ball, UT athletics greater than Bama athletics. I was talking to a kid today at from the Exceptional Foundation there in Homewood. If you live in Central Alabama, you know about that wonderful place there. He had on his Tennessee sweatshirt, and I had on this a crimson colored SEC logo. And he's like, SEC. And I was like, no, what color is it? It's crimson and white. I said, we play each other today and we made a little Diet Coke bet. So I owe him a Diet. He wants a full Coke Classic because he's still young and can burn that stuff off. They are playing Dixieland Delight. They always do when Tennessee beats Alabama up there. It's a tough loss when you lose to Tennessee and you're an Alabama person in football and basketball in the same year. Um, it was really an interesting game. Couple other notes there from this game. Mark Sears. What can you say about Mark Sears, Taylor? You love to talk about the best of the best, and Mark Sears, the way he's playing right now, is one of the best in the country.
Absolutely. I mean, he's coming off back-to-back 30-point games, which hadn't been done in 30 years, 20 years. He put up another 24 points tonight, 2 turnovers, which we've seen those numbers decrease as the season has progressed. He had 4 assists. He was 6 of 6 from the free throw line. And when we're talking about a team that struggled shooting free throws tonight, you can't put any of that on Mark Sears. He had all of his. So, I mean, he can't hang his head after this game because he did all that he could. And if he continues to play like he has over the past couple games down the stretch,
Okay, we lost Little T.
He's going to be as big. He's going to have.
Okay. Oh, we got you back a little bit there, Little T. Yeah, we were losing your connection there, a tad. Talk to me. I think you're back now, unless you're frozen. I
was just going to say if he plays like
Yeah, you're back now. Go ahead.
If he plays like he is right now throughout the stretch, throughout the SEC tournament, throughout the NCAA tournament, I think we're going to be seeing the Mark Sears that we saw in March last year.
All right. 79-76 there, Tennessee, with the winner over Alabama. I'm going to take a few more of these, Little T. Hang on if your connection holds with us there. John says good coaches will put the loss on their shoulders. We'll see what Nate says in the post game right there. Tough loss from the 2 PJO girls there. Chuck says quick 5-second call there. Lance's Lock has done away with crying his crimson pillow tonight. Well, I will not cry later tonight. I do get excited at the end of the contest there, Chris. Landmine believer Nate taking blame for the loss. That's what great coaches do. So maybe he's doing that as we speak there in the post-game podium because that is popping up on a few of your comments right there. All right, so road game for Auburn at Texas A&M next. Alabama at home to Florida. We'll be live Tuesday after the Auburn game, live in Tuscaloosa Wednesday after the Florida game. More coverage continuing on the platform. Forster's working on that post-game sound from Nate Oates as we speak. He'll have that up for you at Next Round Live before the night's over with. We'll let the little team get going. Taylor, thank you. Thanks to all of you guys for being here. That's the basketball show. Don't forget, we'll do a mailbag tomorrow. So watch for Taylor to send that out, and she will put that out for you guys to ask some questions as we go into the final week of the regular season, with now Tennessee looking like they're on the one line. Auburn's a lock number one overall seed. Duke's a lock one. Houston trending towards a lock one. And then now Tennessee on that one line. And you should see in Lenardi's latest bracketology tonight, Alabama for the first time in a long time slip down to the 2 line of the NCAA tournament bracket. That's the basketball show. And we will see you Monday morning when we do the recorded version to get you ready for the final week of SEC play.